Hello students, welcome to my YouTube educational channel. So today's videos is very important for those students who prepared NEET exam 2020. Now in this video we have to discuss about the problems, or we can say MCQs, very important MCQs, and they all the MCQs we have to solve from each units. See here, let us we try to solve the first questions. The dimension of 1 by 2 epsilon naught e square. So the equation is given, so we have to write first of all equation 1 by 2 epsilon naught e square. So this is the equation, and epsilon naught is permittivity of free space and E is electric field. Now see here, the parameters are given. Epsilon naught is permittivity of free space, it is given, and E is electric field. So to solve this such type of problems, we should know the permittivity of free space, electric field. So in this problem you have to find out the dimension of given equation. How we can find out the dimension of such type of equations? So for that purpose you should write first of all the given equation, then try to find the parameters. So here parameters are epsilon naught. To find epsilon naught we must know the Coulomb force, and we know the Coulomb force. What is Coulomb force? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 into q2 upon r square. So using this equation we can find out the dimension of epsilon naught. After that, E, electric field, and we know the electric field, force per unit charge. So using this equation we can find out the dimension of E. So in this way we can solve these questions, but it takes more time, and you know students, time factor is very important for NEET and JEE exams. Now such time consuming problems are there, then how we can solve such type of question using tricks? Because if you use the tricks, then you can solve these questions within 1 minute, or some questions can be solved within 20 seconds, 30 seconds also. So see here how we can solve these questions within 1 minute. So you have to write such equations. So first of all, think over it. What is the equation? 1 by 2 epsilon naught e square. So if you mind, you have seen this in electrostatic, that is energy density. So in electrostat you have seen already energy density. So energy density is equal to 1 by 2 epsilon naught e square. It means that this given quantity is nothing but it is energy density. Okay, so you need not know to calculate the epsilon naught, then in electric field. After that you have to put here and solve these problems. So it is not very important. So just you remember, this is the equation for energy density, and we know the energy density means what? What is the energy density? Energy density means energy per unit volume. So what is the meaning of energy density? Energy density means energy per unit volume. See here, obviously energy, the dimension of energy, you are familiar with the dimension of energy, because energy and work, energy and work, they are have same SI unit, that is joule. So therefore their dimensions will be same. So if you know the dimension of work, you can apply instead of energy, because energy and work both are same, both are having same dimension. So instead of energy we can write here work upon volume. Now we know the dimension of work. Work means what? So work is equal to force into displacement. What is the dimension of force? M1 L1 T minus 2. Displacement, that is L1. So here we get M1 L2 T minus 2. So this is the dimension for work, and it is, we can use this dimension for energy. So just write down here, instead of energy we have to use here work. So what is the dimension of work? Is M1 L2 T minus 2 upon volume. So the unit of volume is L cube. So finally we get M1 L minus 1 T minus 2. So M1, this plus 3 becomes minus 3. So 2 minus 3, that is minus 1, and T minus 2. So our final answer is second option, that is B option, M1 L minus 1 T minus 2. Now our second question is, the motion of a particle along a straight line is described by the equation x is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. So first of all we have to write the given equation. So our given equation is x is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. That is, x stands for what here? That is the displacement, which is in meter, t in time, then the retardation of the particle. So we have to calculate here retardation, and we know the meaning of retardation. Retardation means what? Negative acceleration of the particle when its velocity becomes 0. If the velocity becomes 0, then we have to calculate the retardation of the displacement, which is given x is equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. Okay. See here, we know the concepts of displacement. If we take the derivative of this displacement, that is, we get velocity. So we know the concept of v is equal to dx by dt. So we know this. We have seen already in our oscillations, that is v is equal to dx by dt. That is the derivative of dx by dt means what? Derivative of displacement. X stands for what? Displacement is called as velocity. So to calculate velocity, v is equal to d by dt, and displacement is given, that is 8 plus 12t minus t cube. Okay. So in short, we have to take here derivative of this given equation. So you should remember this 8 is constant, so the derivative of constant is 0. So derivative of constant is 0. Then here t is here, so small t, derivative of t is 1. So velocity is equal to derivative of constant, that is 0, plus 12t. So derivative of t means 1, so we get 12 into t, that is 12 into 1 minus t cube. The derivative of t cube is 3t square. So this is the equations for velocity is equal to 12 minus 3t square. Now see here, velocity is given, velocity becomes 0 if we consider, but v is equal to 0, therefore 0 is equal to 12 minus 3t square. So we get here minus 3t square is equal to minus square, this minus minus get cancel, t square is equal to 12 upon 3, that is 3 4s are 12. So taking square root, therefore t is equal to 2 seconds. So this is for time. So we get here time, that is 2 seconds. Now what is the velocity? We have already calculated here the equation for velocity. So our equation for velocity is, but v is equal to 12 minus 3t square. Now using this velocity we have to calculate acceleration. Therefore acceleration can be written as derivative of velocity, that is dv by dt, rate of change of velocity with respect to time. This simple basic concept you must know, that is a is equal to dv by dt. dv by dt stands for what? Derivative of v means what? Velocity. So a is equal to d by dt, write down here velocity 12 minus 3t square. So for the acceleration we have to take the derivative of 12 minus 3t square. Now 12, it is a number, or we can say constant, so therefore its derivative is 0. Now the derivative of minus 3t square, the derivative of minus 3t square is equal to minus 3 to the 6t. So derivative of minus 3t square, that is the minus 16. But t is equal to 2 seconds. We know the value of small t. So therefore acceleration is equal to minus 6 into 2, that is minus 12. So minus 12, minus stands for what? Acceleration. So this acceleration is in negative, that's why it is called a retardation. So this retardation is equal to 12 meter per second square. Our next MCQ is, a missile is fired for maximum range with an initial velocity of 20 meter per second. If gravity is 10 meter per second, then the range of missile is. See, this MCQ is related with 2D, that is two dimensional, that is projectile motion. So in case of projectile motion, we know the maximum range. So for maximum range, angle of projection is equal to 45 degree. So this is the concept behind it. So if maximum range is there, then definitely theta is called as what? Angle of projection. So this theta is angle of projection, and angle of projection is equal to 45 degree. Now see, given things are here, that is initial velocity 20 meter per second. So small u is equal to 20 meter per second, and gravity is given, that is g is equal to 10 meter per second square. So for maximum range, how we can calculate the maximum range? We must know the basic formula to calculate maximum range, that is maximum range R max is equal to u square sine 2 theta upon g. So this is the most important formula to calculate the maximum range. So we can solve this. U square sine 2 theta, it is angle of projection, and it is equal to 45 degree. Why we write here 45 degree? Because we have to calculate maximum range, and whenever maximum range is there, so definitely theta is 45 degree divided by g. So it becomes u square sine 45 into 2, that is 90. So here sine 90 upon g. But we know the value of sine 90, but sine 90 will be 1. Therefore maximum range will be u square into, instead of sine 90 we can use here 1 upon g. So R max, that is the maximum range, is equal to u square into 1, that is u square by g. So with the help of this concept we can easily solve this problem. Now we know u, that is initial velocity, is 20 meter per second and g is 10. So substitute the value in this equation, that is R max is equal to u means 20, so 20 square upon 10, so it becomes 400 by 10, 0 get cancelled, so only 40 meter is there. So maximum range will be 40 meter. Our next MCQs, two masses as shown in figures. See here, a figure is given here, are suspended from a massless pulley. One pulley is there. The acceleration of the system when masses are left free is. So we have to calculate the acceleration of this system. The system is given, one pulley is there and two masses are given. Okay. Now see here how we can calculate the acceleration. So to calculate acceleration, we must draw a free body diagram of this figure. So this MCQ is from laws of motion. So we know how we can draw the FBD, that is FBD. First of all, draw the FBD, that is free body diagram. Free body diagram. So to draw free body diagram, consider one rigid support is there, one pulley is there and two masses are there. One is 5G and another is 10G. Now 5G, it is less than 10G, so therefore it is moving in upward direction. So it is moving in upward direction with acceleration A. This 10G is greater than 5G, so that's why it is moving in downward direction with acceleration A. But what about the direction of tension? See here, the tension in the string will be in upward direction. Here also upward direction. So these are the direction of tensions, because we know the direction of tension is always toward the center or toward the pulley. Now we have to make the equation of force. How we can make the equation of force? Because we know force F is equal to. So for first body, the equation will be, see here, 5G, that is the weight of the body, and weight of the body is always in downward direction. Okay, so weight is in downward direction and tension is in upward direction. That's why both are in opposite direction. So we can write T minus 5G. See here, acceleration is in upward direction. That's why we are writing here T at first. So we have to write T minus 5G. Why minus is here? Because both are in opposite directions. So this is T minus 5G. So what is force? We know according to Newton's second law, that is force is equal to ma. So T minus 5G. So ma. So m, mass of first body. Mass of first body, that is 5. So we can write here 5a T minus 5G. So this is equation number 1. Now similarly we can write the equation of force for second body. The second body is moving in downward direction, means the acceleration is also in downward direction, but tension is in upward direction. So first of all, see the weight of this 10G, that is weight of body, is in downward direction. So tension and weight both are in opposite direction. So at first we have to write 10G, that is F is equal to 10G minus T. Why we write here 10G at first? Because tan g is moving in upward direction, and the direction of acceleration is also in downward direction. So whenever the direction of acceleration, so see here, direction of acceleration is in upward direction, that's why we write there capital T. Here the direction of acceleration is downward direction, that's why we can write first tan g, that is tan g minus t. We know this meaning of minus. Minus means both are oppositely directed. Now force, again ma, that is force means what? That is mass into acceleration. So ma tan g minus t. So mass, the mass of second body is 10, so we can write tan a is equal to tan g minus t, equation number 2. Now we get here two equations of force for first body as well as second body. So if we add these two equations, so adding two equations, adding equation first and equation second, so we have to add, that is 5a plus 10a is equal to t minus 5g plus tan g minus t. Okay, so after adding these two equations, what we get? So this plus t and this minus t will be cancelled. Only remaining terms are 5a plus 10a, that is 15a is equal to minus 5g plus 10g. So minus 5g plus 10g means plus 5g. So therefore to calculate acceleration, a is equal to 5g on 15. So therefore 5 3s are 15. So acceleration is g by 3. So our first correct option is g by 3. So second option is correct here. Let us discuss the next MCQ. A mass of 0.5 kg moving with a speed of 1.5 meter per second on a horizontal smooth surface. See here, a body is given, so this is the body and it has a mass 0.5 kg. So 0.5 kg is the mass of the body and it is moving towards the spring on a horizontal smooth surface. Collides with a nearly weightless spring of force constant, that is K is equal to 50 Newton per meter. So this is force constant. Then the maximum compression of the spring would be. So this cautions from work energy and power. So we have to solve this problem with the simple tricks. Now see here, any body, if suppose it is in motion, then it has kinetic energy, and obviously kinetic energy is 1 by 2 mv square. When it collides on the spring, then what happened? This spring will be compressed, and when the spring will be compressed, then the potential energy is there. So when spring is compressed, then we can say there is a potential energy in the spring. Now simply this problem is very simple, just there is a conversion of kinetic energy into potential energy. So here kinetic energy of the body converts into potential energy, and we know the formula for kinetic energy. It is very basic formula, that is 1 by 2 mv square. That is the formula to calculate kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is converted into potential energy, but this potential energy in the form of force constant. K stands for what? Force constant. And we know the formula, the potential energy in the form of force constant, that is 1 by 2 kx square. So this is the formula of potential energy in the form of K. K stands for what? Force constant. Now it is very simple to solve. This 1 by 2 get cancels. So x square is equal to we have to calculate here what compression, that is compression means what, displacement. So while this body colliding on the spring, then the spring will compress. Compress means what, the displacement, the maximum compression. Now see the maximum compression will be, that is x square is equal to mv square by k according to this equation. So taking square root, it is under root mv square by k. Now we know the value, that is mass, it is 0.5 kg. So put here root of 0.5 multiplied by velocity is 1.5. So 1.5 square upon k, force constant is given, it is 50. Now we have to solve mathematically. How we can solve? See here, x is equal to root over 0.5. How we can write 0.5? 5 into 10 to the power minus 1. This decimal point shifted here by one digit. So 5 into 10 to the power minus 1 into 1.5 into 1.5. Square of 1.5 upon 50. So x is equal to root over 5, here 10, 5 times are 15. Now 0, 10 to the power minus 1 into this decimal point shifted by one digit, here also decimal point shifted by one digit. So minus 1, here get minus 2 upon 10. So minus 10, it has power of plus 1, it will becomes negative. So root over minus 1 into 15 into 15, 225 into 10 to the power minus 2 multiplied by this becomes 10 to the power plus becomes 10 to the power minus 1. So x is equal to 225 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 1, minus 2, minus 1 means minus 4. So taking square root 225, the square root of 225 is 15 into the square root of 10 to the power minus 4 is 10 to the power minus 2. So finally we get x is equal to 12, that is 0.15. It is displacement, so that's why it is in meter. So this will be the maximum compression in the spring while the body is colliding on the spring. So our next question is from rigid body, or we can say rotational motion. Now see, in this problem 3 particles are given and they are having same mass, small m, small m, small m and small m. They are situated at 3 vertices of a triangle and the triangle is given equilateral. So equilateral triangle, it means that definitely 60, 60 and 60. So this is equilateral triangle ABC. Now each has side small l. So this is the side small l as shown in figure. Then the moment of inertia of the system. So this is the system and we have to calculate the moment of inertia of the system. Now we know the moment of inertia, that is mi. What is the formula to calculate moment of inertia? So moment of inertia is nothing but just it is mr square, that is mass of particle, product of mass of particle and square of the distance from the axis of rotation. Now see here, the axis of rotation is given here, a line, see here line AX perpendicular to AB. So here AX is perpendicular to AB. This one is AX and it is perpendicular to AB. Okay. So L is side of this equilateral triangle So we can calculate the moment of inertia of the whole system. How we can calculate the moment of inertia of the whole system? See here, the moment of inertia, is equal to this A point. So mass at A point, that is ma into Ra square, that is the distance, plus second particle mv into Rv square, third particle, that is mc into Rc square. Now ma, that is having mass small a into r square. See here, this is the particle small m, and axis of rotation is passing through that particle. It means there is no distance, so that's why we are taking there 0. Concentrate here. Why we are taking Ra square is equal to 0? Because axis of rotation is passing through the particle small m, which is present at point A. So that's why the distance is 0, plus mv, that is m into where is b particle is here, and it is at a distance of L from axis of rotation. This one is the axis, sorry, this is the axis of rotation, and this particle which is at point B, it is at a distance of L from this axis of rotation. So instead of Rb square, we can write L square plus mc, that is m into Rc square. Now see here, what is the distance from the axis of rotation? So the distance of axis of rotation is this one. So this distance become, just resolve this side L. If we resolve this side L into two components, one is L cos theta, another is L sin theta. So this distance is L sin theta. Okay, so we are taking here Rc square, that is L sin theta bracket square. Why we are taking here L sin theta? The distance from the axis of rotation of point P, which is at C point. If we resolve this L, then this L resolved into two components, L cos theta. So this L cos theta, and this one is L sin theta. So there is 60, means we can write here L cos 30 and here L sin 30. So we can put there, that is m into this one. This total term becomes 0, plus ml square plus m L square sin 30. So it is ml square plus ml square. What is sin 30? Sin 30 means 1 by 2, and its square 1 by 4 into 1 by 4. You should remember here sin 30, that is 1 by 2. So if you put here 1 by 2, then its square becomes 1 by 4. That is ml square plus ml square by 4. So this becomes 4 ml square plus ml square upon 4. So 4 ml square plus ml square, that is 5 ml square by 4. So correct option is third one, that is 5 by 4 ml square. Our next MCQ is the work done to raise a mass small m from the surface of the earth. So this MCQ is from gravitation. So for that purpose, we have to draw one FBD is here from the earth. So suppose this one is our earth having center O, and this one is the radius capital R. Now the object is to a height h from the earth surface. So this is the height h. Suppose here is the object, but the height is equal to its radius. Here height is exactly equal to radius of the earth. Then we have to calculate work done. So students, you know work done means what? So when the object is at this point, suppose the object is on the surface of earth, and if we have to displace from the earth surface to the point, then there is work done. That is work done, we can write so work done is nothing but it is change in potential energy. Change in potential energy. So work is equal to change in potential energy. So change in potential energy means what? The final potential energy minus initial potential energy. So when there is a difference in between final and initial, then we can use change. So here difference between final potential energy and initial potential energy represents, that is change in potential energy. So final potential energy of the particle, the particle of mass, that is small m. Final means what? When the particle is at a height from the earth surface. So its final potential energy is minus gmm upon r plus h minus initial potential energy. Initial means what? When the particle is on the earth surface. So minus gmm upon r. So carefully students, listen carefully here. Minus gmm upon r plus h. So this is the final potential energy when the particle is at a certain height from the earth surface. What about its initial potential energy? Initial means what? That object or that particle is on the earth surface. So at that time its distance is from the earth surface, center of earth surface is capital R. So that's why we are using capital R. So here distance, here r plus h means what? Definitely it is at a certain height from the earth surface, and when there is capital R means what? That object is on the earth surface. So let us solve this. Minus gmm upon r plus h minus minus become plus plus gmm upon r. So at first we can write this term plus gmm upon r, gmm upon r minus gmm upon r plus h. But given thing is that height is exactly equal to the radius of earth. So that's why instead of this h, we have to use capital R, because height is equal to capital R. So therefore this equation becomes, that is gmm upon r minus gmm upon r plus r, because height is equal to r. So it is gmm upon r minus gmm upon r plus r 2r. So take common terms here. So gmm is a common term, so remaining term is here 1 by r. minus 1 by 2r. So GMM 2r minus r. Take cross multiplication here. R into 2r, 2r square. So here we get GMM 2r minus r upon 2r square. So r get cancel, 1r get cancel. So 1 into this, that is GMM upon 2r. So this is the work done. Work done means what? Change in potential energy. But we know the value of Gm. What is the value of Gm? So here, but the gravity is equal to G is equal to Gm upon r square. We know this is very simple formula, basic formula to calculate the acceleration due to gravity, that is G is equal to Gm upon r square. So according to this relation, we can write Gm is equal to G into r square. So instead of Gm, we can write Gr square. So that's why this equation becomes Gr square instead of this Gm into m upon 2r. So 1r will get cancelled. So the solution is 1 by 2 mgr. So correct option is last option, that is 1 by 2 mgr. So our next problem is a small hole of area of cross section 2 mm square is present near the bottom of a fully filled open tank of height 2 meter. Now see, this problem is related to the hydrodynamic. We know in hydrodynamic, the concept of hydrodynamic means what? The water or the liquid which is in motion. So that's why we are considering in that hydrodynamic Torricelli's theorem. So this theorem is related to the hydrodynamics. See here, in our questions, open tank is there. So suppose this one is the tank, and in that tank water contains. So there is water, and at a height from the surface bottom, at a height from the bottom 2 meters. So suppose this one, there is a hole. So there is a hole. Then the water comes out through this hole. So the height is from the bottom is 2 meter. Okay. So when the water is flowing through the hole, then it has velocity definitely. So we have to calculate the velocity of the water flowing through the small hole by using Torricelli's theorem. What is the Torricelli's theorem? What is the concept of Torricelli's theorem? So we can find out the velocity of flowing through the small hole, that is V is equal to under root 2gh. So this is the Torricelli's theorem. Now we can put the values. So therefore V is equal to 2 multiplied by g, obviously 10, h it is given 2. So therefore velocity will be 40 root under root 40. So the square root of 40 is in between 6 and 7. So approximately it is 6.32 meter per second. So this is the velocity of the water which is flowing through the small hole from the tank. Now we know the rate of flow. What is the rate of flow of that liquid? So for the rate of flow, we know the formula for rate of flow. So rate of flow, that is Q is equal to A into V. So A stands for what? Area multiplied by V stands for that is the velocity of light. So velocity of liquid. So Q stands for rate of flow. So rate of flow can be calculated by using this equation A into V, that is area into velocity. So what will be the area? Area of that hole. So whatever will be the area of this hole is given. The area of hole, cross section area, it is 2 mm square. So area is 2 mm square. 2 mm square multiplied by velocity. So we have already calculated here the velocity, that is 6.32. See here, mm square, millimeter square means what? 2. Milli means 10 to the power minus 3, its square multiplied by 6.32. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 6, 3 to the 6 into 6.32. So here we get the multiplication of these two, 6 to the, that is 12. So something 12.6 maybe 12.6 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter cube per second. So this is the correct answer. So this is for rate of flow. So therefore our second option will be correct. Now next question, that is the molar specific heat at constant pressure. See, this MCQ is from thermodynamics, and we are familiar with specific heat at constant pressure and at constant volume. So the given things is here, the molar specific heat at constant pressure, that is the value of Cp. It is given 7 by 2 R. 7 by 2 into R. So it is given, then the ratio of specific heat at constant pressure to that at a constant volume. Now the ratio of these two quantity, that is we have to calculate what? Cp upon Cv, that is ratio of molar specific heat at constant pressure and molar specific heat at constant volume. So the ratio of these two we have to calculate here. So in case of thermodynamics, we are familiar with adiabatic constant. So adiabatic constant means what? The ratio of these two given quantities, that is Cp upon Cv. So our concept is, so this ratio is called as adiabatic constant. So in short, we have to calculate what? Adiabatic constant. So this adiabatic constant represented by gamma. So gamma is equal to Cp upon Cv. Okay. So already Cp is given, that is 7 by 2 into R. We have to calculate Cv. So to calculate Cv, there is relation. Which relation is there? That is Mayer's relation. So using Mayer's relation, we know the theoretical concept behind it, that is Mayer's name of scientist. So a relation is given by Mayer's in between these two, that is Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Here capital R stands for what? Universal gas constant. So therefore Cp minus R is equal to Cv, we can write. So therefore Cv is equal to Cp minus R. What is the value of Cp? It is Cp minus R. What is the value of Cp? 7 by 2 R minus R. So taking cross multiplication of this, we get 7R minus 2R upon 2, that is 5R by 2. So this is Cv. It means that molar specific heat at constant pressure, it is already we know, and the molar specific heat at constant volume. So taking the ratio of these two, that is adiabatic constant, gamma is equal to Cp upon Cv. So Cp is 7 by 2 into R upon Cv. just we calculate here 5r by 2, r get cancelled, 2 get cancelled, so therefore 7 by 5. So this is the adiabatic constant. Adiabatic constant means what? Just it is the ratio of Cb and Cv. So our correct option is 7 by 5, that is second option. So students, our next MCQ is related to the oscillations. So in this numerical, two springs are there, they are coupled and connected in series. So draw the FBD for that. So there is a rigid body and two springs are coupled like this. So having different force constant K1 and K2. So the time period of the suspended mass will be, so mass is here, we have to calculate the time period of the mass. Now to calculate the time period of mass, we can calculate the equivalent of this spring first and second spring, that is the equivalent spring constant. So these spring constants constant can be calculated using this equivalent force constant, that is 1 by k is equal to 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2. Why we can calculate the equivalent force constant? Because when the two springs are in series, then we can easily calculate. So 1 by k is equal to k1 plus k2 upon k1 into k2. So by taking cross multiplication, so therefore effective force constant is k is equal to, it becomes k1 into k2 upon k1 plus k2. So this is called as effective force constant. Now we have the value of effective force constant. See here, two springs are in series, so therefore their effective force constant is k1 into k2 upon k1 plus k2. Now we have to calculate the time period. So for time period, what is the formula to calculate time period? T is equal to 2 pi under root em by k. So this is the formula to calculate the time period of spring. Now see, we can put T is equal to 2 pi under root small m upon k. K stands for what? Effective force constant. And what is the value of effective force constant? That is k1 into k2 upon k1 plus k2. So therefore it becomes T is equal to 2 pi under root m into k1 plus k2, k1 plus k2 upon k1 into k2, k1 into k2. So this is very simple questions. That is the time period of oscillation, the time period of spring when the spring is in series combination. So that's why our correct option will be last one, that is T is equal to 2 pi under dm into k1 plus d2 upon k1 into k2. Thank you.